welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to day 2 here of Drive Festival. I didn't film a whole lot yesterday on the first day on the Friday. It wasn't super busy. I just wanted to kind of walk around, get the lay of the land, do some cool stuff because I know I was super rushed with everything last year. But to start off the morning today, I'm up here in kind of the supercar, hypercar, everything car parking paddock. So we're gonna walk around here. I'm not gonna try to film everything. It'll be just impossible. The video will be way too long. So I'll pick up some of the highlights. There's some really cool things here. There's a couple cool things behind me that we'll go check out in just a second. Like I say, just everywhere you look up here, there's just supercars, hypercars, car heaven, classics, you name it, it's basically here. So yeah, we're gonna do a walk around the paddock today. I'm gonna film a bit more of the cars kind of doing the dream runs down there. I don't know if I'll get to the exotics and hypers today, maybe tomorrow. I have to leave a bit earlier today. Of course, I'm here with the 10th Gen Club. So we'll go check out some of the cars later. Unfortunately, because I have to leave early, I couldn't park up with the club today. But anyways, at this point, I'm just rambling on. Let's turn this camera around, go walk through the paddock, show you some of the highlights of all the crazy cool cars that are here. Okay, so let's go do a quick spin from I'm standing here. And you guys can probably just see through the lens quickly. There's all kind of crazy stuff. Don't worry, we'll go check it out in a second. I don't even really know where to start. There's some crazy things over here. But I think let's start off. Let's walk over this way. We got a cool G-Wagon. We have a pretty rare kind of old school Lamborghini. Of course, the Lamborghini Espada. So for everyone who thinks the Urus was the first kind of family Lamborghini, nope. They made this back in, I believe, the 70s or 80s. You see there, it's got the Bertone design. The back, it's kind of looks like, I don't know, it's like a hatch coupe almost kind of design. I think it seats 4 or 5 people. But yeah, it's got a big V12 up in the front of it. So yeah, classic old family Lambo. Really cool to see one of these. I know a lot of people maybe don't like them or don't even know what this car is, but I think if you're a car collector or you have the means, I would definitely pick it up. It's definitely cool. Of course, G-Wagons, always awesome. Sitting there on some nice polished HRE wheels. We have an old Corvette here. Is it a split window? No, it's not a split window. It's a 1967, as the plate so conveniently tells us right there. We have an old GT350 and an old Camaro kind of hanging out in the back there. We have a Tesla S2000, an old Porsche. This is really cool, the Lincoln Continental. Of course, if you guys know your American presidential history, Lincoln Continental is pretty famous like this. But yeah, really cool. Don't see a lot of these around, so really always cool to see an old Lincoln Continental. Audi RS4, Miata. A couple old Porsches. I'm not sure, this one looks like it might be in a PTS color. It's kind of a chocolate brown. We have the old Datsun, another old Porsche. We got an R8 here. We have a couple NSXs. We have the new NSX with the old one over there beside. There's a couple more NSXs up there that I want to show you guys as well. We got the Cayman GT4. We have the SLR Roadster. There's another one we're going to see in a second. We got kind of the base, if you will, SLR Roadster here. We have a Lotus, Lotus Elise. Over here we got a Caterham. There's an old Bugatti. I believe it's a Type 35 race car. This thing went down the track yesterday. I think I may have the video. If not, I'll try to catch it later. I apologize, guys, for the voice in the back. They're doing running commentary of what's happening out on the track. We've seen this car before. This is the Oro Station old Mustang that, of course, did the Gumball 2000. You can see it's still got the livery there on it. Of course, it's Toronto to Miami. And actually, if you guys remember back then, I don't think I mentioned in the Gumball video, but they actually had to do a full engine swap about 2 days before the rally. Weren't sure if they were going to make it, but they were on the start grid out of Toronto. So really cool to see this car again. Another classic Mustang, or some more Porsches. Another Datsun. We have a Viper Roadster. Over here, again, this is the display from the R Club guys. Let's move on to some heavy hitters. We have Happy Hippie's little display of cars. We have here his fully customized GTR thing. So it's a VW thing modified. It's got the GTR wheel, basically GTR, I think, drivetrain wheels and everything. And of course the engine. You can see the front mounted intercoolers there. And yeah, I'm sure this thing is just a riot to drive. Of course, the VW thing is already not a very heavy car. You can see it's also got the full GTR interior. So the quick backstory on this, guys, is you may remember if you follow Happy Hippie on Instagram that I think it's about 3 years ago now. Unfortunately, he had a big fire at his house down in Florida. Lost a couple cars. One of the cars that he lost was the GTR, which burnt out. But I guess luckily the engine, the gearbox and stuff were fairly undamaged. So he had this VW thing body lying around. So as you see, this is the marriage of both of those. So really cool to see basically a GTR and a super light body. Of course, you can see the massive Greddy exhaust coming out the back, and you might be asking yourself why. because I can, because Happy Hippie can. And then a couple cars we've seen before, of course, his absolutely beautiful, fully red carbon fiber Bugatti Chiron, which changed up wheels. So it looks like he's actually gone back to the stock wheels, I believe, and just done a full chrome powder coat with the red center cap in the middle to match the rest of the spec, with the red brakes and obviously the red carbon fiber, the red and black interior. So yeah, the Bugatti Chiron, obviously always awesome to see one of these. We've seen this a couple of times before, but just in case we don't see it again soon, here it is here at Drive Festival, and with one of the best plates ever. Of course, funds are low, as I always made the joke. I'm sure if you buy a Bugatti Chiron, you're going to be a little bit low on funds, but obviously, if you have the money to buy it, I feel like you're not really worried about it too much. And then besides the Chiron, we have, of course, Happy Hippies P1. Again, full green carbon fiber body. Can't actually really see it under here in the shade, but again, we've seen this car before. Full green carbon fiber. Used to belong to the collector down in the States, Michael Fuchs. Tim bought it at auction. It's chassis number 2, and he also has the matching spec Senna. Again, it was Michael Fuchs' car. Happy Hippie Tim bought that one as well. Both chassis number 2. They were both the first customer delivered cars, and again, chassis number 2. That means the only other ones before that are chassis number 1, which are back at the McLaren Technology Center back in England. So pretty cool to see these side by side. P1 Chiron. If you guys could only choose one of these two hybrids, which one would you take? I don't know. I said before, the LaFerrari is my favorite of the hypercar Holy Trinity. I think out of these two, I don't know. It's a toss-up. I don't know what I would take. Let me know in the comments. What are you guys taking, Chiron or P1? Okay, so just again, randomly parked here on the lawn, we have a few more Porsches. So we have these beautiful GT3 RS in Miami blue, and then 991.2 generation. Another turbo there, a couple more Porsches. A nice old M3. We got a few of the race cars. These guys were going on the track yesterday. I'm sure they're going to go down the track again. Just spouting good race cars. We got a couple Audi A5 race cars, a couple BMW. Looks like 2 Series race cars. We have a Radical tucked in back over that way. Another Mitsubishi. That's definitely like a time attack hill climb car. And over here we have what I believe to be a brand new 812 Competizione. Just going to quickly walk around the back to see if I'm right. Okay, no, it's not an 812 Competizione. I saw it on the trailer yesterday being pulled in, I guess, to park up here. Guys, all I saw was the silver paint job with the yellow stripe across the top. There is a window on the back, but from where I was sitting, it looked like a Competizione. It's not, it's just a regular 812, but still completely awesome Ferrari 812. Of course, you guys already know, 6.5 liter V12 front mid-mounted Grand Touring car, but also produces just under 800 horsepower. So it's a Grand Tour, but definitely no slouch. Absolutely glorious sound that comes out of the back of these. One of my favorite Ferraris. If I ever was lucky enough to win the lottery, definitely buy one of these. But yeah, sorry guys, I thought it was a Competizione. I would have been really surprised actually if there was one in Canada, but it makes sense that they would have one at Drive Festival. But anyways, let me stop rambling. Let's continue our tour around the field, because as you can see, basically everywhere you look, there's just something crazy. And quickly, I'll show you this Corvette. We've seen a lot of C8s, don't really want to go too far, but just in case you ever forget what car you're looking at, it's a Corvette. It's definitely not a Ferrari. It's a really cheeky license plate. I love it. But it's kind of hilarious that this thing came out. A lot of people, I guess if you're not a car person, they see the shape and think, oh, nice Ferrari. So I guess in a way it's a compliment, but yeah, this guy's reminding you that nope, it's a Corvette, it's not a Ferrari. And behind the old Viper here, we have, I don't remember what the model is, but it's definitely an old Renault of some kind. Really cool. Obviously more of a Euro spec, not really going to see those in Canada much, but again, just pretty cool to see this. And like I said, you never know what you're going to find when you just walk around this VIP area. We got an old C4 Corvette convertible. We have another NSX sitting here, and actually we're going to jump back over and I'll show you the other NSXs I wanted to show you. What else we have randomly? AMG GTS, Ferrari 458. You guys already know if you watch my videos. One of my absolute dream cars. Oh, and this guy, I think with me and this guy could be friends. That license plate Death Star, black Ferrari, clearly a Star Wars fan. I don't know, if the owner of this car is someone watching this video, I love your car, I love your plate. Let's be friends. We got a lot of Ferraris here, so let's just quickly bang this out. So 458, 360, 430, another 458, 488 Spider, 488 Pista. We have this cool racing liveried up Ferrari 812. We have another Ferrari 430 Spider, C8 behind. What do we got here? A Ferrari 3.2 Mondial Cabriolet, nice. We got the M, is that 4 or is that 8? I'm not really sure which one. R35 GTR over there, M2. You guys get the idea. Like I said, everywhere you look, there's just crazy cars. This way, we have a Huracan Spider. We have an R33 Skyline. We have the T7s that are one. Murcielago, again, you guys already know, one of my favorite cars. Actually, this looks like a first-gen Mercy based on the wheels. Quick double check. Gated manual. Not sure if you guys see that on camera, but gated manual in there. And yeah, we can see there from the exhaust. Here's a first-gen Mercy, so I'm not sure if this is a 6.2 liter or if it's a 6.5 V12. I'm gonna guess it's probably a 6.2 liter V12. Again, awesome first-gen Murcielago, gated. They sound amazing. You can check out the big wing here on the Corvette ZR1. Just the massive, massive carbon fiber wing. Oh, this guy's gone on a Spade Rally before. Ferrari 328 GTS, almost didn't even see that. Sitting here, old 911, couple of 911 SC, Carrera 4S. Again, like I said, everywhere you turn around, crazy cars. Carrera S. I guess the Porsche all down there, just a line of different Porsches. Porsche Taycan, looks like the Turbo S, Aventador Roadster, super sparkly, great paint. It's awesome. Porsche Boxster, another Porsche. Don't remember all the models off the top of my head right now, guys. I'm just trying to rip off this quickly. Lamborghini Gallardo, again, another one of my absolute dream cars if I'm ever lucky enough to own one. McLaren 570. This purple McLaren 570 we saw and heard going along the Dream Run yesterday. Definitely not stock. The loudest 570 I've ever heard. I'm thinking it has definitely an exhaust, maybe downpipe and some kind of tune, but this thing makes an absolutely glorious noise. Another Porsche beside that, there's the GT3 in the lizard green over there with the beautiful yellow 911 Turbo S on there, the 991 Turbo S. Another Porsche AMG GTR. We got the Viper over here, the green Viper GTS. Looks like an Ariel Atom. Kia Stinger. This GT3 RS, again, we heard this going down the Dream Run yesterday. The noise that comes out of the back of this, the flat six, definitely straight piped. I can't even explain to you guys how that sounds like. Again, I'll play the clip if you haven't ever seen it. This thing sounds absolutely glorious, and oh my god, the flat six, beautiful noise. We have the old McLaren race car. We heard this thing last year, and if you guys don't remember, it's super loud. Looks like they're about to start it up, so I'm gonna just hang around here for a moment, see if I can get it started up. But I'm gonna stand way back here. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell how far back I'm standing, but I'm gonna stand back here because if they fire this thing up, I was about 2 feet away from it last year, and yeah, I couldn't really hear well for the rest of the day. All right, guys, before they start this up, let's just get a little quick, better look at it. You see we got the crazy stacks coming out of the engine. Big mounted wing, of course, exposed gearbox, of course, we are a race car because race car. And I think they're about to start this up, so let's stand well back and take a listen. Okay, so that was absolutely insanely loud, as I told you. I think headphone users, I'm sorry if your eardrums are currently bleeding. But then we also saw the Ford GT Mark II pull out of there, owned by Mr. Angelo Paletta, 24-hour Ford. So like I said, the Ford GT Mark II, which is owned by Angelo, 24-hour Ford. It was parked up right here. I was hoping we would get the film a little bit before it went off, but now that the noise is gone, we can come to this other tent section. So again, if we continue on with the rest of Angelo's cars, here again, 24-hour Ford, you can see his normal road going Ford GT. And actually, when you see them side by side, you see kind of the regular road going Ford GT, and then you see that full-on race car, the Ford GT Mark II. You just see just how much more insane that the race car really is when that's already kind of a race car for the road. Beautiful Ford GT again. We've seen this car a few times on the channel. Let's go for a quick run around this area Now I'll show you all the rest of the cars. So we have an F12 TDF here. We have a 488 Pista with the full tricolore stripe livery over the top. Carbon fiber wheels. Moving on from the Pista, we have another one of my personal favorite cars, the McLaren 675 LT. This one is Spider, finished in a Napier green with the multi-spoke wheels and the green calipers. Absolutely love this car. If I was able to buy a 675 LT, it would be exactly in this spec. We have the 600 LT beside it. I believe there was some form of race car something, or no, the GT350 that I filmed going out, the race car was parked here. We have another 4GT and one of the Heritage liveries. I don't remember which year this was from back in the day racing. I believe it was the 1967 livery. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself on screen somewhere or let me know down in the comments. But yeah, we have the 4GT here. We have a 65 GT40 at the back. We saw that car last year. Pontiac GTO sitting just across as well. We have a couple more empty space, I'm sure some race cars. We have another 488 Pista over there. We have a Rothmans liveried Porsche. Not sure what one it is, we'll check it out in just a second. We have some form of cool old Honda bike here. We have another hypercar here, of course. We have the LaFerrari. Oh yeah, and this is where actually you can see here the McLaren race car would sit. 72 McLaren M8EF was sitting somewhere right here, I think where the bike is, or just alongside it. But yeah, we have the LaFerrari, of course, always epic to see one of those. 812 GTS, an absolutely gorgeous spec. All white paint, all red guts, silver wheels with the black calipers. I'm never usually a huge fan of silver wheels, but this works super well. And like I just mentioned before, the other 812 is one of my favorite Ferraris that they currently have in the lineup. Get a better shot of the interior of this 812 here. The camera will like the focus. So yeah, you see full red guts on the interior. The yellow Ferrari symbol right in the middle. Pretty just awesome spec. And you can see it's got some extra bits. It's got what looks like some sort of lip kit. It's got side skirts. It's got the front lip on there. It's got a different matte carbon diffuser with the little carbon wing flick on the back. Of course, we get a nice back shot of the LaFerrari there as well. And real quick to round out the rest of this tent, we have a beautiful Diablo VT Roadster here, and one of the cool tricks with this car is that you take the roof off and you actually just store it right behind you, basically right on top of the engine bay back there. So really cool, so you always have your roof with you, of course. And of course, an old Diablo gated manual transmission, of course rocking it with the famous Lambo doors up. And of course, back in the day with the Diablos, the Countach, and even up to the Murcielago, you can see how the doors go a bit more straight up than they do on the likes of the Aventador, where they kind of go out a bit more like wings. The Carrera GT here with the roof on, but no, it doesn't really matter. Carrera GT, I could just sit here and stare at this thing all day, but we're gonna move on. Here's our Rothman Porsche I was talking about. I guess it's like a 994, maybe a Safari. I apologize, guys. Let me know that in the comments. It definitely is rigged up to look like a Safari with the lights and everything on there and the old Rothman's Racing livery. Another shot of the other 488 Pista, classic red with the all the carbon fiber on the front grille there, and we got this silver and blue racing stripe livery all across the top. 65 GT40 that I mentioned before. We saw this car last year, absolutely beautiful. Pontiac GTO, Lamborghini Gallardo LP 550-2, so one of the LP rear-wheel drive Gallardos. We have a Spiker C8 here, and this car is also owned by 24 Hour Ford Angelo, as is I think this whole paddock little area here with the Cobra. But this car's claim to fame is that this exact Spiker used to belong to Jennifer Lopez. Don't really know when Angelo bought it, but it's kind of cool to A, to see a Spiker, and B, that this one kind of has a bit of a famous past behind it, being owned by Jennifer Lopez. The Shelby Cobra, and just for anyone who wants to know, it's an original engine. You can see everything there. So yeah, fairly authentic Shelby Cobra, pretty cool. And then, as I mentioned, another shot of the Ford GT over there. We got the GT40 beside it in the matching livery, and then we have Angelo's McLaren Elva. Just to end off this little section, guys, we have the McLaren Elva. Again, we saw this car last year at Drive Festival. I believe he actually kind of unveiled it for the first time to the public at Drive Festival last year. So the McLaren Elva here in the Gulf livery. And you can see that he's got a bit of a theme going with the McLaren Elva Gulf livery and his GT40 and his Ford GT also in the same livery. And I believe I've seen from videos and pictures of his collection. I think he has something else in the Gulf livery as well. But yeah, of course, Gulf Racing, a really famous old classic racing team. Also, the Gulf gas stations. But yeah, so there's one over here, and there's another one down the other side of the paddock, which we'll go and check out a little bit later. But I think for right now, let's. We've seen a lot of fancy cars. Let's go head trackside and watch some of the cars running up the hill.